Okay, so if you recall, we have in our package, Woodland package, we have a Word document in here. So if you open it up, you have a little bit of history of this building. I'm not gonna take too much care in what it says right there, but what you can do when you write up these texts and such, you can work in Word. That way you're spell checking, your grammar checking and all that stuff, and then you could, whatever you have done, you should be able to highlight, Control C, and go back to your Illustrator and select this we already did before, area type tool. Shoot. We gotta set up the box first. So not in title, I'm gonna place a new text or copy. Make that as current. Make a rectangle, something like that, and then type text, which is in there, and make sure that all the character things are down to proper size, and then Control V, and then you could just basically take whatever text that you had on Word and adjust it to the document. Okay. You can always change this thing to the paragraph. You could make it so that it is blocked out, but if you do that, you're gonna have to choose a word wrap because it's gonna, or hyphenate, because that, if you hyphenate, if you don't hyphenate, notice all of these space between the words, and that might look a little bit distracting when you're reading this thing. So you have like this word and then big space, word, big space. So what you might want to do is hyphenate the thing so that it comes in more of a block. But I would probably prefer, depending on your text, that you just use a left justification. That way you could read it like you would. You may not hyphenate at this point, depending on what your texts are, and that should bring your stuff in. Okay, parts that you can't read, you could highlight that area again. So if that you can't read, I'll highlight it, and then I'll change that into, let's say, the white type. If you just do that, though, what might happen is that the white type might look a little too small. So white type against a black background, it'll look skinnier than it really is. So what I might want to do is to select that area over again, whoops, and add, it's white, and you might want to either add a white stroke around it, or you might want to add a black stroke. If you add a black stroke, it'll be like the letter boxing format on a movie. Whoops. So be careful about all of that. So I'm going to keep it white and white. And I should be able to read that in a darker background. So this is what I mean by selecting a background that is appropriate. Sometimes the background is too busy so that you may not be able to read your drawing. So like this right here, the floor plan, it reads well against the dark background, but these light text up against these light background, it may not read as well. It might be a little bit distracting. So again, be careful about the background that you select or choose to use. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my title, and maybe I'll put in a type, and I'll call it section. Make sure that it is the correct size. Let's see, 10 point is a little bit small for that, so I'll select maybe 18. Oops. Select maybe 18 point. I'll want this to be white because I want it to show up in this dark background there. And this I might want to align with the drawing, get it closer to the section. If I select this part and hit the Alt key, I'll be able to copy this thing, so I could now change this font to, or these text to, let's say, floor plan. Okay, and I'll nudge that over maybe to a right justification and see what everything looks like. So if this was a actual board, I might have to use a scale or something for this. Maybe these texts are too big. I don't know. What we need to do after we put all of our materials in here is that we have to go ahead and adjust everything again.